starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello and good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of B.A.D.D to Business. I am your host, Shynen Saffron. Thank you for coming in. Give a couple of people a second to come in. We have a wonderful show for you tonight. I think it's beneficial for all those who are listening. We plan to reach one, teach many. So today, let me introduce who's going to be joining me tonight. Normally, I do a podcast by myself, but I have the pleasure of having some guests today. So I'm going to introduce my co-host who is joining me tonight by the name of Jazzy. Hello, Jazzy.
Hello, everyone.
How
What's
you
going
feeling this
on?
evening? How you feeling?
I'm great. I'm great. How is everybody doing?
I assume everybody's doing good. They finna come in and join us. So I'm excited about the
Awesome.
show. You want to
Me
tell
too.
everybody a little bit about yourself, where you reside,
Uh,
and what you like to do, something like that?
yep, I am Jazzy. I love to cook, eat, and travel, and everybody knows that I will travel for food. I am coming at you live from Albuquerque, and I am grateful to be here. I can't wait for an awesome show.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here and being my co-host. Okay. So,
Of course.
coming up next, I want to introduce our guest, our special guest tonight. We have Mr. and Mrs. Rico, Moises and Bree Rico. How are you this evening?
Hello, everyone. We are doing great. We're
Good,
ready.
good.
We're
I'm
so
so glad.
excited to be here. Thank you so much for having us.
And thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me. We have a happy couple here. Do you want to, you introduce yourself? Say a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, we are the Ricos, Moises and Brenda Rico. We've been together for over 12 years, married for over 7. We're about to be 8.
About to be.
Yeah, we've been together a while, and we're here to share our story and our message about relationships. We're passionate about it. We just see how valuable relationships are, how impactful they are to the future generation, how impactful they were to us. Yeah, we want to make marriages great again. So that's what we're here for.
Make marriages great again. That's something to be working towards making great again. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Let's get that on a
definitely.
hat,
Focus
okay?
on that.
Definitely.
And with that being said, they brought a little bit of what the show is about tonight. Tonight we are going to be talking about love language. We know that there's different ways of communication, verbal. You've got your body language. But when it comes to relationships, we want to talk about love language. And as the beautiful couple just mentioned, we want to give some tips on just understanding each other and just communicating better. So, without further ado, I want to go. Let's jump right in because we don't have a lot of time, and I can go on and on and on. But I want to give our beautiful guests a chance to share some of their experiences and some of their things. So, again, welcome to B.A.D.D to Business. We are talking about love language. I did some research on some things. Jazz and I have talked a little bit about it before about the different types of love languages, and I come across you have the words of affirmation, you have touch, you have gifts, you have service, and quality time, right? The words of affirmation are like compliments, encouragements, the I love yous, the go get 'ems, all those motivational words. Some people take or give that and receive very well. You have your touch love language, which deals with physical affection like hugs, kisses, holding hands, and any other form of, let me make this clear, non-sexual physical closeness. Okay, touch does not always mean it's something sexual. It could just mean a rub on the back, a hug, those types of things too. Um, then we come across, which you know can be given and receiving, and that's easy. But a thoughtful gift, something that actually pertains to something or has some type of actual meaning to somebody, that's a form of love. Service, doing something good for your partner that makes their life easier. We all could use some of that in all types of relationships, but when it comes to you and your partner, that makes I believe that makes a strong household.
Hmm.
your QT, quality time, of course. That's always a good thing in a successful relationship. Giving your undivided attention to and spending meaningful time engaging in conversation and activity. So again, quality time. I'm really a stickler about that because different relationships, different strokes, different folks. A lot of people may feel like because you're in the same room with your partner, not talking, not communicating, hey, we're in the same room on separate phones, you know, that is spending time together. And I just don't believe in that. To spend time is as it's stated, the undivided attention, spending meaningful time and engaging with each other. So those are the five love languages that have been noted, I'll say, thus far in our society. And so I wanted to give some tips and some things, and like I said, just a conversation, give Jazzy a chance and give the Ricos a chance to talk about some things they think. So, what do you guys think? What do you think about language, Jazzy?
I mean, like you said, it can be so many different ways to show how you love someone. It could be the littlest gesture to something huge, but it all depends on you and your partner and if you guys can communicate effectively with each other. And that actually brings me to my question, like, or our questions that we have, but it's like you have to make sure that whatever language you were speaking, your partner understands it, and vice versa. You have to understand each other in order to make it work.
Communication. It's all about
Mhm.
communication, and that's one of the things I
Huge.
say is key. Mr. and Mrs. Rico, what do you think about the five love languages and communication in a whole?
Yeah, the five love languages helped us tremendously understand each other, understand um, what feel loved, where did it come from, and how to express it.
Mm,
Because there's a lot of times where that we've experienced that it's hard for us to receive love.
mm,
For me, one of my stronger love languages is words of affirmation. But since in the
mm,
household that I grew up in, it wasn't really that much like "good job, champ," things like that.
Oh,
It's hard
yeah.
to receive it. And I
Mhm.
expressed that to her. When was it? I don't even know when. A couple of days ago,
Hmm.
where I seen like how much she edifies me with the book and the podcast and the events that I've been to and all that stuff. And I was like, I'm just doing what I need to do.
definitely.
um, and for her part, I don't want to speak for her, but yeah, for her part, it's a similar story as well.
Yeah, I mean, I, in a sense, I kind of realized that I, like he said, receiving the love language, right? So he does things and could be what I speak, but I don't receive it very well. So, I mean, like just last month, we did a 30-day challenge where every single day, we did whichever love language, but we did something. We recorded ourselves, we posted it on social media,
Nice.
and
Nice.
we realized that we were doing the love languages, but the other person wasn't receiving them as much as we thought. So like we were doing it, but the other person didn't even know. Like
Mm-hmm.
as simple as like my husband giving me a ice cream cone when I was relaxing. That to me was like, oh, thank you so much. That's so sweet. But I never saw it as like, oh, he's speaking a love language, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
so in a sense, I think it's also the way that you receive those, and it comes to being grateful. And
Key. Very key.
yeah, because like he could be speaking a different language, but if I'm not grateful, then I'm not going to receive it. You know
Very
what I
true.
mean? So
Yep.
that's how I see things.
Yep.
So, and that brings up an interesting point because, being grateful allows you to recognize some things, right? I was talking to someone else that was in a relationship and it was kind of troubled, and she kept trying to do her efforts to make it better. One thing I had to point out to her is when your other partner has mentally checked out already, and trying to prevent. But when your other partner has mentally checked out already, they don't even see the attempts. Now, in your case, you're not mentally checked out, but you didn't readily identify that was a love language. But being grateful, you don't see it as a love language. You can see it as a love gesture. It
Hmm.
doesn't have to be him
Mhm.
speaking to you in a way. It's
Mhm.
just him loving on you some type of way, right?
Mhm.
So, I mean, I don't know how that could have made your life easy. I do see it as a service. You know, he brought you ice cream while you
Yeah,
relaxing.
even a gift, like, oh,
Correct.
he's giving me a little gift, like even just that, like you can put it in whatever box you want, but if you're not grateful, you're not gonna receive it no matter what. You know what I mean? So it's just, I think, a mindset shift that you have to do within yourself, of like, don't be so focused on your own love language. Be more grateful on whatever else is doing for you, and then
Mhm.
if you want, you can put it on the box of like, oh, this to me means a gift, or this to me means an act of service.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and
Yep.
if you're speaking these love languages fluently, you never really have to identify what type of language your partner is speaking, because what you know is it's love. I think we were talking before a brief moment where I said, I was real adamant about I don't speak different love languages. My language is not bilingual. Okay, I
Yeah.
speak one language. It is love. Love is patient. Love is kind. So I am love in all languages, right? But then I realized that that is me speaking. That may not be the other person receiving, and vice versa. You know, so it is definitely a matter of who you're talking, how they're receiving it. Moises, you brought up a good point, and it was something I was going to bring up later on in the conversation, but I'm glad you brought it up. And it was, you didn't grow up in a household that kind of did that. One of the things that we do not consider or understand or even ask about is, is that person able to receive it? I mean, able
Hmm.
to even give it. We could be asking for something from someone and they're not able to give it, right? Um, Now, I got kind of a take on this, and let me see what you guys think about this. Now, even with that being said, we're in a relationship, so I feel like how you grew up is a big factor, but how
Yes,
you grow with someone is a key factor. So even though Moises did not grow up in a household like that, he's around someone who is doing that. He's adapting to that, and because you love your wife, I'm assuming that either you're adaptive to trying to learn how to do that, or she has been okay now communicating with you and understanding that this is why you do this for me, and that is okay. So how does that work? After explaining to her that that's not what you're used to, or that's not how you grew up, then Bree, how do you accept that? Is that accepting, or is that something, Moises, that you have decided you can work on? That's one of my questions. Is just, this is the language I speak. I can't speak that language, or I've, picked up some Rosetta Stone lessons on that.
I think it's
I'm just I want to know.
I think it's a bit of both of me learning to, and also her not giving up on showing me that love, because I know I need it. Right? It's just a matter of me being able to receive it. And she asked me yesterday, because with the whole book thing, um, she asked me something about my mom, like how come my mom doesn't celebrate it, or what she tell me about. And I told her my mom is those type of people who, to me directly, she doesn't give me praise. But if someone were to ask, well, what about your son? Immediately,
Mhm.
oh, he's an author. Oh, he's speaking on
Mhm.
stages. All this stuff.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
it's part of the healing in that part is accepting who my mom is and how she chooses to show her love, which is through
Okay.
that, which is through edifying me to other people,
Mhm.
um, and kind of grieving and letting go of the part of what I want, which is why don't you tell me that stuff,
Hmm.
right? At the end of the day, she's my mom, right? She's not my life partner. That's where I
Mm.
can go and get that fed.
There we go.
She can edify me directly to me, and she does. The reason I believe I'm the man that I am is because of her. She built this man to be this type of dude.
If I can say something, just so you know, it wasn't like this always. Like, I also didn't grow up that way, so I never really had to edify anybody or like talk good about anybody. In our
Mm. So
Hispanic
you had to
culture,
learn a love with affirmations.
yeah, so in our
Yeah.
Hispanic
Wow.
culture, it's like you talk bad about each other all the time. Like, oh, you know what I mean? So you bring that into your relationship, and when I found out, like, you talking good to me is my love language, I had to shift that too. Like, I had to
Mm,
learn, and it took a few years for me to bring myself to tell him, "Hey, good job. Hey, that's awesome. Hey, you're doing a great job. Hey, like thank you so much for everything you're doing." Like it wasn't like that before, and that made him feel like that we didn't care as much, or that we didn't, like appreciate what he did, until I learned to start doing it. And with
mm,
practice, then
mm.
Hmm. Yep.
With practice. And
Yep.
yes.
so, what
Practice
it
makes
really
perfect.
shows from both of you is that this was something you wanted to do. When you want to do something, you want to make something work, that
Hmm.
it shows in your actions. So that's awesome. And just on the topic of, just kind of knowing what he needed when he needs it. And, because you have different communication and stuff like that, I looked into a little bit of your stories, and just to kind of see where you guys were rooted. And I came across a story that Bree shared about a broken air conditioner. Bree, do you mind sharing just a little bit of that? We have a but there's something that I want the viewers to hear about that.
Yeah, it was actually, it's funny because all of a sudden our air conditioner stopped working. And we've been living in this house for a year already, and we live a good life. So we
Amen.
have it like at a 75 right now, and it gets cold. So and it's 100 degrees in Texas, like where we live.
Mm.
So we stay inside. We're like, no, that heat is not my thing.
Gonna
But
swallow us alive. Yeah.
so it went out, and we were like, what in the world? And my husband was working, and I had the girls outside in the pool because I was like, I don't want them to feel the heat inside. So like they were in the pool and they were swimming all day, so they had no idea what was going on. But you as a mother, like you're like struggling, of like, oh my gosh, like it's so hot in here, like we don't have any air conditioning. Like it was getting to the point of like 85, I think, inside, and it was feeling really hot. And my husband kept telling me throughout the day, hey, like, let's get a hotel. You go to a hotel, like, you can go to a hotel. And I kept fighting him on it. And I was like, no, no, like, it's fine. Like, hopefully the guy comes. The guy came, he can't fix it till tomorrow. And he was like, let's go somewhere. Like, I mean, we can always go to my mother-in-law's house because she opens her door no matter what. But growing up, I had shared on that post that it was hard for me to sleep at somebody else's house because when my parents split up, we had to sleep in other people's homes for a very long time. And it made me very uncomfortable.
Mm.
And, now being a mother of 4 kids, I was like, I'm not going to take my family of 6 to another home. Like, it just makes me uncomfortable. And without question, he was like, just pack up. He was already looking up hotels. He got out of work and he was like, we're going to go, we're going to stay. And I was in like survival mode,
Of
right?
course.
Because that's how I grew up. And I was like survival mode. And we got to the hotel, and got in the shower, and the room was 64 degrees. And I was like, wow, it's like so nice and fresh. And the girls were excited. And he came in to the room and he was like, are you okay? And I was like, no. And then he was like, what's wrong? So he came and he hugged me, and I just started crying.
Mm.
And it made me realize that I was so blessed. And I've known this my whole life, but I was so blessed to have a partner that now understands me, that he healed that part of me, of my childhood, of where like I no longer have to worry where I'm gonna stay, or where my kids are going to stay for the night if the air conditioner goes out. I no longer have to be in survival mode. And
Mm.
I was crying, and he was like, why are you crying? I was like, I'm just happy. I'm not sad crying, I'm just really happy and really grateful.
And that was really touching to me because, that was a love language of what we'll call service, right? You made her life
Mhm.
easier. She didn't
Yep.
even have to ask. But it went a little bit deeper because one of I took this from your story, from your post, Bree. one of the things you said was when you have someone who understands you, sees you, listens to you, and connects with you deeply, even your past starts to feel lighter.
Mm-hmm.
And that was pretty deep. He was able to lighten a burden that you didn't even know you still had. You know,
Exactly.
and so that went without saying. So even with that love language, I thought that that was very important to share because again, that went without saying. I'm sure Moises knows your past and knows things from communication, and what he did to ease your pain without you even saying you were in pain.
Right.
It's the initiative to make sure that you don't feel that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That was you go, Moises. Okay, that's why she knows
Very,
what to do.
very deep. Yep.
Um, Also, I wanted to touch on something. Moises, I did a little research on you too, my man. You guys are a very inspirational couple. Very
Thank you.
inspirational couple. Moises, you talked a little bit about there are three different types of relationships. Can you maybe give a prescription and quick tips on those things?
Yeah. So I believe there's three types of relationships, and I equate it to maybe three different types of jobs as well. So there's relationships that you get, there's relationships that you keep, and there's relationships that you grow. The ones that you
Mm-hmm.
get are the very superficial ones. You're just looking to get in to get out of it.
Mm,
For something to get out of it, money, whatever, maybe looks, status, all that stuff. I even some just to get into the pants. That's pretty much it. Like once you get it,
Right.
you're not interested anymore. You
you've
stop doing what you
satisfied whatever
Done.
exactly.
craving
You're
you were
done.
going for. Okay.
Exactly. You stop doing whatever you did to get to that point.
Hmm.
You
Mm,
already got your prize and you're ready to get out.
okay.
Um, those are those types of relationships. They hardly last. They're either one night stands. They're very short period dating, and it's like okay, well, we got our fill and to depart. The second type is the relationships that you keep. The relationships that you keep a lot of the time is maybe you have kids, maybe you started forming a life together, but there's really no love, there's no connection. It's more of a roommate agreement of like we're here together, we
Mm-hmm.
have kids, we're staying together because of the kids so that we don't disrupt their life and traumatize them even more. And then once finally the kids are old enough, then it's like okay, well we're divorcing. I'm not happy, things like that. There's really no connection. Again, you're just there because at that point, it's just it's just a business agreement that it makes sense for us to stay together instead of disrupting each other's lives.
Mm,
There's that the relationship that you grow. Those are where you get better with time. They
mm,
actually flourish. They are fruitful. It's not just we're
mm,
together for the kids. It's not just together because we like what it's in each other's pants. It's we love each other. We want to grow together. We want to be the best version of each other. We want to help each other achieve that. And to I guess for people who might have trouble kind of tying that together, relating it to jobs, there's jobs that you lie in your resume just to get in, right? Because of the pay,
Mm-hmm.
you
because
get okay.
Mm-hmm.
someone's things like
Yep.
that, right? The jobs that you keep, you're not happy with, but the pay is good, the benefits are good. Maybe you're going through something
Mm,
medical, so it's there. So you know what? I'll
Yep.
stick around,
mm-hmm.
even though it's horrible. I don't like my boss, I don't like my coworkers. I'm just gonna clock in and clock out, and that's pretty much it.
Right.
And then
Done.
there's jobs that you grow, right? Where you want to be in there. You want to continue moving up the ladder of the corporate ladder because you
Right.
see where you're going, you're headed. And you invest in it because the company's investing back to you and your growth. So, yeah, that's what I mean about the three types of relationships.
Well, I learned something this evening. Not something that I didn't
Right.
already know, but just putting it in perspective. We know what
Yeah.
kind of relationships we should be going for. So I don't even have to ask which one of those you feel are the most beneficial. I see you guys are growing and flourishing, so that's awesome. And so I wanted to touch on a little bit of something, and even when with you talking about the relationships that grow, um, most relationships or anything that grow, you have to invest in, right? There's
Hmm.
investments. So I watched a little bit of one of your podcasts, and you talked about investments and how you invest in things. Can you elaborate a little bit on that as well?
Yeah, our mindset is the number one thing we heavily invest time, money into is our relationship. We build our life around our relationship. In that aspect,
Mm.
that is like whenever I'm in job
Wait,
or something.
time out. I'm sorry, and I didn't want to interrupt you, but you
Go
said
ahead.
something that if I could put it on the screen, we
Profound.
built our life around our relationship.
Yep.
Okay, not built your relationship around the life you were living, what you were used to. Okay, I'm sorry. Just
No,
so
and that's key, right? Because we grew up being told you go to college to get a good education to get a good job, right? It's not.
Yep.
You need to learn how to build relationships so that you can be there for your life
that
partner, so they can support you through the college, whatever job, lack of job, so on and so forth. And
Yeah.
correct.
yeah,
Yeah.
we learned that the hard way as well. But as soon as we learned it, we were like, hey, it's us right here. And yeah, I've told my wife it doesn't matter if we go broke as long as we invest into our relationship and it builds our relationship. I'm more than willing to go ahead and invest into that as much as we need, as much as we can.
Yeah, I
And
mean, like literally our whole life now, it's the way that we've designed it. So, like, even
mm,
his job, homeschooling the kids, we designed that. Like, me staying at being a stay at home mom, we designed that. Like, we let go of the superficial things that are in our life. Like, we don't even have a second car. We have one car because we're like, if we get a second car, I'm gonna have to get a job.
Yeah.
So we're like, no, there's
Mhm.
no way, absolutely not. Like, we can do it with one. Like, we don't need that kind of comfort, because we want is what we invest in, right? So, like he said, like, if we go broke, it's because we invested in our relationship the most.
yeah, I get that. And then, I mean, with you supporting each other, where you can see if one needs the car, then they use it, and the other one drops off, and that's teamwork, right? Nobody gets upset. You didn't pick me up on time. We've communicated and coordinated what needs to happen,
And we
and
make it
I
work.
mean, that's big in a
100%.
relationship.
I mean,
Moise, let
even
me.
with business, like, I'm sorry,
Yes,
but like, you have no
yeah,
idea.
you're fine.
This man is a businessman, and he's
Mm,
done so many businesses. And if I think if we hadn't invested in our relationship so much, like, somebody else would have left them, because it's
mm,
like
Hmm.
business after business. And I'm like, hey, like, as long as our relationship is first, I'll support you in whatever you want. Like, it
see
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that
That's important.
when you consider who somebody is in your life and they consider who you are and actually value that stuff, that actually works. And even in that, Moises, I took a quote from you where you said, before go to invest anything, you think about, will this next decision affect my relationship? And I thought
Hmm.
that that was very key, because you didn't ask, will it affect your job? Will it affect your bank account? What you want to know is, the next move you make, will it affect your relationship?
Right.
And that means that you have consulted your wife enough, you have talked to her enough, you've studied and understood the dynamics of your relationship enough to, that is your first thought. That, as you said, this is our foundation, that we built our life around our relationship. So therefore, if something goes wrong in a relationship, a lot could break apart, right? But let me ask you
Hmm.
this
100%.
question. So I had a top conversation with one of my friends some years back, and I was talking about one of my failed relationships, and his advice to me was, well, you got to consider it like this. In any investment, there's a 50-50 chance of you not getting your return back. You invest, but that doesn't mean you'll get a return back. Um, Now, how do you feel about that? Because I have my thoughts about 50-50 and all that, but again, how much you put in is how much you should get back, right? But that doesn't mean all investments. How do you feel about that as far as how much you invest in your relationship? Do you see a return? Do you see it reciprocate? I know that there's some things that you have to work on, but how do you feel about investing your all in your relationship? How has that worked?
For us, magnificent. It's one of those things where in a relationship, if you can't invest 100% of what you can, if you go that route, you may get 50%. If you go anything below that, then your chances of getting even 50% diminish. You may get zero.
Mm,
Because when it comes to a relationship, you invest 100% of what you can, right?
mm,
Sometimes it's me who can invest more than her. Sometimes it's her that can invest more than I can, depending on what circumstances we are currently going through. With her, with homeschooling and being a stay-at-home mom and taking care of three little girls, and me with work and the book and the and things like that. However, what we've seen is as long as we keep that one investment intact above everything else, we always consider each other. We always tell each other, hey, how is this going to affect us? I'm thinking of
Mm-hmm.
doing this, I'm thinking of doing that. And we continue to invest in each other. We completely invest everything, really. We put a lot of relationships aside, and this may trigger some people, but even the relationship with our kiddos, they have to know mom and dad
Mm-hmm.
come first. Because if we're not here, then believe me, that relationship that we have with our kiddos is broken.
Yeah.
That
And
dynamic is broken.
you just trying to keep the relationship, right?
Exactly.
Told you I learned
It's
something tonight. I told you. I was like,
exactly. It's the way that I see it is I'm a king and she's a queen, right? And we are protecting
Amen.
our kingdom.
Amen.
Hello.
And
Yeah.
Come on.
Yep.
Moises.
yeah, and what's the best way for the king to protect him is to make sure that the king and queen are together, right?
Correct.
That we are
Yep.
seen not by the people that are in our care, which is our family, right, in our village, that we are
Hmm.
cohesive, that we're together, that we're communicating, that nothing is going to break us apart, no
Yeah.
matter how hard they try, because we're solid.
And you
And
running your kingdom makes that a unanimous decision.
exactly, exactly,
So that, and
100%.
that's, I believe that's how it's supposed to go. Trump, take note. Um, Jazzy, is there anything? I mean, I could go all day. Again, I have other things, and they keep saying stuff that just sparks, but I don't want to run out of time. Jazzy, I know you had some
Oh yeah.
questions and stuff. Is there anything? Please, because
Oh
I'm
no,
just
I mean all
trying
of
to
my
finish.
questions have really been answered, which is the point of this discussion. Like I had some, but no, they've answered everything. It's I agree with everything that they have said, and they are definitely a relationship that I'm striving to be like when I grow up. Okay.
Mm.
Oh,
When
I
I
love
grow up.
that.
I see
Because
one
I
of the
mean,
comments that came through from Carlene, and she says God first. And I wanted to go
100%.
ahead and draw that because Moises, that was one of the things you did say that. I didn't point that out, but let's not forget God. Let's not
Nope.
forget that.
yep,
When you
yep,
said, it's very important to invest and have your relationship with your mate and stuff. And one of the things you pointed out was, well, first and foremost, God first, your relationship with
hmm,
God first. So you
Hmm.
definitely did say that. So want to make that a point that God does have to be the head of everything for anything to work,
Mhm.
right? So,
yeah,
100%.
If
yeah,
I can say something, like I feel like that's what really helped me be more submissive to my husband.
okay.
That I knew that he was being led by God. That
Hey.
mm-hmm,
his relationship with God is huge. It's beautiful, and that if anything, like being led by God, so God leads me all the time. So I'm like
hmm,
I understand, I trust, and I let him do his thing, and I'm like, as long as you're being led by God, I will submit to you to the fullest. And I
Yeah.
know that
hmm,
triggers a lot of women, but when your man like you will see it when you can truly see him be in at peace and this beautiful relationship with God, like you feel, and there's no need
hmm,
for you to bring out the masculine side of you, because now your
Survival.
man is, yeah, like now your man is
yeah,
taking care of that.
yep.
That's awesome.
As he should, as he should.
And that
That's
crown is
awesome.
earned. That's what one thing that I tell all the guys that crown of a king, that is earned, man. It's not
Yeah,
something
it's
that is just a given that
just,
because it
Nope.
says in the Bible, wives submit to husbands.
yep,
No,
Mm-mm.
you earn it. You earn it
yeah.
100%.
Yep.
Well, a lot of people feel like are the heirs of some things, like the Hiltons, and they're just supposed to inherit some royalty. I mean,
Everything.
we have in our bloodline, but faith without works is dead. So we
Hmm.
still have to do our part. So,
Yep.
I really appreciate you guys sharing all those things. I see that we're hitting our mark, so I don't want anything to get cut off. But is there any type of closing message you'd like to give our folks in just learning love language, receiving it, giving it, how to stay together? Can you give us anything before we get all into your contact information?
Yeah, of course. I think the number one tip that we always continue to give people is your marriage has to win. No matter what, your marriage has to win. Not you as the spouse, or not your partner. It's your marriage, meaning the two of you together, not just
Mm,
one or the other.
Mm,
So do everything
that
you can to make your marriage win.
and there's a king and a queen on a throne to run a kingdom.
yep.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah, otherwise
Yep.
somebody can just go get an apartment. Okay. Um.
Oh, I love it.
Like, okay, bye.
All
I mean,
right.
just if I
Well.
could just say one little thing, when we were talking about, the 50-50, just remember that there's going to be days where you can only give 20%,
Mhm.
Mm,
Mm,
and your spouse will have to give the 60. But it's the communication of like, hey, babe, I've only got like 30% of me right now.
mm-hmm.
Are you able to handle the rest? Instead
Mm,
of just the
yeah.
expectation of like, he sees me that I'm overwhelmed, he sees that I'm like screaming and yelling at the
Struggling.
kids, like, can you handle
Yeah.
it? No,
can
like,
you speak to me in some service?
it's like, it's coming in and saying, hey, I'm at this level, are you able to take care of this? And then, I mean, mine does it all the time, like, we've connected so much that I don't even have to ask anymore. Obviously,
Mm,
with the AC,
Hmm.
right? But it took
mm,
years of connection and communication. So don't expect them to just do it. Like, it's a lot of talking to each other and giving each other the space to be able to connect.
Mhm.
mm.
Mm,
And
hmm. Hmm.
communicating that though. One thing I keep hearing of that you guys is that you're communicating. And in that space
100%.
Yeah.
of communicating, there is something called vulnerability because you have to,
Absolutely.
and that's why him being such a safe space for you, allowing you to be vulnerable, and vice versa, apparently for him being vulnerable. It takes vulnerability to tell somebody that you need them to do something instead of
Hmm.
staying in your prideful mind and saying, they see me struggling. Like, why should I have to ask, right?
Help.
But sometimes you do because there's that ratio that I can only give 80. And I'm glad that you brought that up. I can't really discuss it, but because we're running out of time, but there was a discussion about 80-20, right? If you can't give 100%, is that okay? And the moral of that discussion was some people put that 20 part of whatever parts of 20% and 80% and vice versa. So what you think you're really getting less of is really given in a different way. Seeing that, so you're putting it in the 20% and saying you're not getting that, or
Mhm.
Yeah.
vice versa, however you want to speak it. So you may be getting 80 and 20, but just as you just explained it, you got to give grace for that, and then you
Hmm.
got to be able to communicate that. But on the flip side, your partner has to make you feel safe enough to feel vulnerable enough to say, I ain't got it. Because if your partner makes you feel like you're in survival mode all the time, to just be like, I ain't got it, but I'll get it, I'll do
Mhm.
it,
Yeah.
then
I'll
that
figure
adds
it
more
out.
stress to you, which
Yeah.
ultimately will bring on stress to your relationship. And now you're secretly mad at your partner, and they have no idea why you threw a house shoe at them when you said good morning.
Mhm.
But that communication is key, and people got to learn how to communicate. So definitely, effective communication, learning how to bring that down, but creating a safe space in your relationship to be able to do so. And
100%.
I'm sorry, you've been together how long? In totality,
12
12 years.
years.
Yeah.
12 years and married 7,
Yes.
Yes. Yeah,
and you're
we
still both
met when he
smiling
was
and still one
19 and
car.
I was 25.
Yep.
Mm. See what I'm talking about? And still one car and children later and able to homeschool and working hard and got some other
Do
things I hear
everything.
going on. So while we're
Yep.
going into that, before I start a whole nother conversation, because I can, why don't you tell us your contact information and tell us some things you got going on with you so we can follow you and follow up on your podcast.
Yeah. You can follow me on Facebook. It's Moises Rico on Facebook. On Instagram, it is doing it raw underscore Rico. And you want to tell them yours?
Yeah, mine is Bree Rico on Facebook, and Instagram is doing it raw underscore Bree. And we also have a podcast, Doing It Raw Relationship Goals, which is on YouTube. And within the next couple of weeks, it's also going to be airing on Roku in the Prospera TV
Yay.
network.
Nice.
Yay.
That's
And your
awesome.
book, I mean, and I am so proud of my husband because I again, like, he can't receive a lot of stuff, but I'm always like, you are amazing, like, come on. So him and some other men, they co-author a book called Surrender to Rise, King's Edition.
Mm,
So
mm.
this
Ooh.
is all guys, and they told their story of surrender to God. So
Awesome,
it is an
Moises, and you
amazing
just
book.
keep on growing with this relationship, ain't you? God first
Oh
gonna
yeah.
do it. Okay, and what's the name of your book again? I'm sorry.
Surrender to Rise King's Edition.
Surrender
Yeah,
to
and you
Rise
can
King's
Kingdom.
find it
edition.
on
Come.
showyourcrown.com.
Awesome. Showyourcrown.com. Okay, well, of course, I have all your information. I'll be sharing that on my page, y'all who are missing it right now. But we definitely need to celebrate and support
Yes,
this
yes.
young couple that's growing
Heck
together
yeah.
in their kingdom. Okay, and
Yes.
we look forward to seeing just better things and other things. And Bree, I know that you are an upcoming speaker, so I look forward to how many women you can teach and reach, and both of you just building your kingdom.
Thank you so
Again,
much.
I am so honored to have you both on my show, and as well as on a show of this topic. I think you
Yeah.
really were able to give some good tips and help some people understand about receiving and giving and those things. And communication, please, communication. Learn how to communicate. Okay.
Number
So, and
one.
then think about what type of relationships you're trying to get, keep, and grow. That's something that you
Exactly.
need to identify too. So, also on the receiving end, other people, partners, realize what type of relationship you're in with somebody. Trying to just get something, keep something for a reason, or grow with you. So,
Yep. Yep.
learn those love languages, the words of affirmation, touch, gifts, those things. Learn that if with your partner. See if your partner is investing in things like that. We've said a lot of key words on successful relationships. So I hope you guys enjoyed our show this evening. Bree and Rico, I'm sorry, Bree and Moises Rico, the Ricos, thank you so much. We look forward to your Roku show too. Please reconnect with me. Let me know how that's going. Maybe we can get an update and see how that's going. See who else you were able to reach and teach, and maybe come back and do a little update. See what's going on with you guys. Okay.
Absolutely.
Sounds
Yes.
Thank you
Yes.
great.
so much. We
Thank
appreciate
you for your
it.
time.
Thank you. And Jazzy, thank you for co-hosting with me today.
Of
I know
course. Of
you didn't
course.
get your, I know you told me you had some questions, but they did so well. I mean, they
Yeah,
kind
they
of
got
went off of
answered.
my thing too, right?
They
I
got
didn't even
answered.
ask the questions. We just had a great
Nope.
conversation. So
Yeah,
we
they got
did.
answered. It's all good. I'm good. We good.
Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed another episode of Bad to Business and what we brought to the
Woo
business
woo.
table tonight. Join me on
Hey.
another episode. I'll be posting some things. And again, like I said, I'll be posting some things on how to connect with the Ricos and follow them on their new Roku streaming journey, is what I'm going to say. Because I believe
I'll
that
be
it's going to
there.
get bigger than that. I'll be there too. I know
Yep.
them. I know them. So,
Like I saw
congratulations,
them.
everyone. All right. Well,
Thank you
I
so
hope you all
much.
have a good night. Thank you for joining me.
See y'all later.